Go to the essay type of question. I lost track of these labels. With 8 or 9. Okay. The essay type of question. Let me put up a question here. Explain. Suppose that's a question. Perhaps it's worth 15 marks. The essay type of question, really, the STEM is not a big deal in the marks, okay? Where I usually want to draw everybody's attention is here. This part, the response setting, you need to do it consciously. The first one, you can leave it on default, it's fine. HTML and the required text entry is all fine. Where you need to pay attention is on the input box size. Last year, we have scenarios of colleagues who left this on default on 15 lines, but their questions required more lines. So student could not write more. And then because student could not write more, they have to complain. And then we have to investigate, and we found out that the little lines were provided. The exam was compromised. Somebody have to reset a paper. So to avoid such type of scenarios, you need to make sure that you select the appropriate, the number of lines or the input box size must be fitting the question, okay? Normally, it's necessary to say if that question, the student who would be, what is it called? Concise, very, very concise, who write on point, who only require might be 20 lines. You need to consider the student who is likely to write more. But, okay? The student who write a lot of things will probably go up to 30 lines. Then you need to go with the 30 lines to be safe. Okay? If you do low attachments, you need to click yes here. But in most cases, you don't allow attachment. But this is a university, you wouldn't be surprised if any subject out there would require attachments. So if it becomes necessary, you just indicate the number of attachment. You can specify 1, 2, 3, or you can indicate unlimited. If you require attachment, you can indicate what type of file and so on. But let me go with a no attachment option here. Let's come to another part, which is the response template. The response template can be useful, especially in the context now of the question of the colleague here. Even though this question would really likely to fit the context or the scenario of an essay type of question with a response template, but not to discriminate others, who will still deal with it on one-on-one, but just to primarily to let you know that you just need to insert those graphs here as part of the response template. But in the meantime, let me first make use of something simple. Suppose I would want to change this question. Let me just copy this table and put it in the response template here. And then let me change this question and say, in the table below, indicate the Moodle quiz question type that would fit the scenario the questions given. Okay, could be rephrased. Maybe that's a question. Then I give a response template. So, just want to remove the answers because this is where the student will answer now to probably make a bit of sense once previewed. So hang in there. All right. So that's my response template. Then grader information, if it's you and your colleague that are going to mark this paper, or maybe it's 5 of you, then if there is any grading information that you want others to consider when grading this question, you just edit here. Grader information will not be visible to students. It will only be visible to the graders. Let us save it and preview it and see. We'll see how it looks. In the table below, indicate the Moodle quiz question type that would fit the scenario of the question given. Then the student will give the answers. You provided a template from on which they are answering. Okay? But there seems to be a question coming.
No, but finish. Yeah, my question is under the essay, I want to attach something that the students need to make reference to. For example, there's an article that I want them to read, and then they need to respond. Then they need to write an essay type of question based on what they have read. How do I include that in the essay?
Okay. Now we will look at that. Okay. We will look at that. I'll need to change my text editor because that is yeah, but we'll look at it. That's a good question. Let me also edit it to the others here. We have a solution for that. Okay. External text or a passage or yeah.
Yeah.
Not a passage per se, because a passage, yeah, even a passage. Let me just call it a passage for now.
Maybe it's, let's say, a newspaper article that they need to read, and then they have to write an essay, you know, based on that.
Okay. No, that's indeed a good question. I wish you were in attendance yesterday, because it was not even addressed yesterday. We didn't have that. We didn't demo that yesterday. So yesterday's group was left out on that. Okay, so yeah, here we are on the essay type of question, paying attention to but I want to add another one just as another example for a response template, because I truly believe a response template could solve a lot of problems. Let's call it this question 10. Then let's say, I think I have something. I think I have a graph I used yesterday here. Then write down the coordinates of A, B, D. Okay. Perhaps I want to insert. Remember, you can insert images here. If the image is in the computer, this was modified yesterday. Probably this. Hopefully, it's the right one. Yes, it's the right one. Okay. So, in the response template, now you see, because this is just, I can leave the response to 5 lines, the input box to 5 lines, because it's just the simplest one. So I have A, I have B, and I have D. Okay, so if I save this, let's preview it quickly and see. Write down the coordinates of A, B, D. A is here, B is somewhere, I don't know, where is B? I don't have B, okay, it's here, and D is here. Here is our response template. So the student wouldn't need to write A because we have already provided it. You just need to write the coordinate. Okay. One more scenario with a picture, but a different one. A different picture. Just so that we, some sort of enrichment or so. I have a map here. Yeah, I'm very quiet. What question would one need to insert an image from a computer? And, modified yesterday. Here is a map. Maybe 20 lines. I can add anything on the response template if it's necessary. But what I really want us to see here is a map. It's a different image. You know, you can add a simulation. Yeah? You can add a simulation on this question. And then you ask students to answer the question based on the simulation. Okay? So they will be answering here. They are told to start the map and do whatsoever, then they will write as required here. Okay, maybe that simulation, do I have it bookmarked? Page what? Okay, but colleagues, it's just that I'm trying to, in the past we have little accommodation for STEM colleagues, and I'm trying to be inclusive as much as possible. But you could as well add simulation as part of the question. At least simulations are not the same as typical videos. You know, videos has implication with the students' data, because if you add a video and it's big, then maybe my network resources is not allowing the video to play. But the simulation is quite simple. It can play almost even in a simplest network or poorest network. So you can then add a simulation where, and mind you, with the simulation is also a video. The difference is that a simulation is an interactive video where students can change variables. They can change parameters. Think about the simulation where you would need to test the reaction between sodium and water. So you would want to change the temperature, you would want to change the mass, the weight of sodium, the volume of water, and you observe what happened when you change the volume of water and the temperature and whatsoever, and then you ask the students, change the volume of water to this level, change it to this, and then write down what happened. What did you observe? Why did you think happened? So that will help you to really have rich, very rich questions that will really test really stuff for your students.
Mr. Onana.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm not able to save on this essay. And yes.
There must be an error message somewhere.
Where it says there are required fields in this form marked with an exclamation. But so, yeah, it's completed, but it's not. I don't know what I did wrong.
Where it says there's a required field, you say it has been completed.
Yeah, I filled it in, so I don't know what the error could be. You know, it's these red exclamations that are showing.
Mm-hmm.
So so it means that I have to fill those fields, and they are filled, but yet I'm not able to save.
So when it returns, what error message does it give?
It's not giving me an option to save anymore. It gives me that you know, that stops, that circle with the line in between. What do you call that?
No entry.
Yeah, it's giving me a no entry thing.
Perhaps refresh.
Okay.
And start. Unfortunately, just copy if you have text written, they copy it so that you don't have to retype it.
Okay.
And then you refresh, you start again.
All right, thank you.